What's up, guys? Got the metal tag here for you this time. I've been wanting to do this for a couple weeks now, but I just didn't get around to a couple other videos got in the way, which is whatever, man. I'll just do it this week. But I'm hyped to do it. I'm excited. Took a couple of days to get all these answers straight and right, you know, being everything that I wanted them to be. So, here's to it, man. We're drinking a Fantastic Haze Imperial IPA by Sierra Nevada. Not a huge IPA guy. I do drink the occasional IPA, but I am much more into porters and Scotch ales and red ales and stouts. But yeah, the Boba Fett glass as usual. Here, this is the Guinness pint glass. I don't have many cool pint glasses. This looks like urine. Whatever. I know this beer is pretty decent. If I do drink an IPA, I usually go for a hazy one, and I try to avoid stuff with fruit in it, especially if the fruit is a major flavor. So whatever, man. In the background, Slaughter Cult by Exhumed. So you can see this is the special edition saw blade CD. I don't know what the limitation is, but it's pretty sick. I like it a lot. I've been really working on trying to get into grind, man. I actually really want to. And gore grind has really been the easiest one for me to get into, considering a lot of the gore grind and the death grind bands seem to have a lot of ties to the brutal death metal scene, which is more my speed than, you know, Napalm Death or something, but nonetheless, I'm working on them too. So, cutting to the questions. I got all 20 of them in front of me here. I got a notepad here so I can keep track of my progress. We are with number one, your favorite reissue of 2021. I tossed a couple things around, even something that I'm going to be showing in the next collection update, but it's got to be Nocturnal Mortem's Lunar Poetry demo. This is one of the best black metal demos of all time, man. This band is everything good about black metal. Comes in this gorgeous split, blue and yellow split with the best Nocturnal Mortem logo. I think it's very cool looking. It's very fitting for their style, you know. They're definitely really coming to their own really early on. These guys were, I think, way ahead of their time. I mean, there was bands that definitely had this style back in the day, but I don't remember what year this was. Maybe 90. It was definitely 90, maybe 95. But yeah, Lunar Poetry, great reissue. Somebody should reissue that A5 Digipack CD, or even just like a regular CD, man. If you're not gonna do A5 though, just go with the jewel case, because, you know, who wants a Digipack? Lunar Poetry. Number two, a band I discovered for the first time in 2021. I am going to keep talking about them until they're big enough to headline at Wacken. So this is Arab Altor. This is Ulfuven, I don't know. And this is by Honor. These are the two I own right now, for now, trust me. Huge fan of Arab Altor. This early stuff is like a mixture between epic doom metal and like Viking metal, so being Candlemass and like Twilight of the Gods era Bathory. And if you think that sounds interesting, 100,000% check out By Honor. And this is more of like a kind of melodic black metal, little folky tinges. Still little bits of this doomy and Bathory influence. That's pretty much a thing that's sprinkled over the whole top of this band's discography. These dudes are also in the band Isol from Sweden, which is an epic doom metal band. So that makes good sense that they would sound this way, and their logo is gorgeous. Look at it. Great stuff. Arab Altor. Number three is an outstanding vocal performance. I had a couple ideas for this. I wasn't 100% as to what I was going to do right off the bat, but I watched a video of these guys again on YouTube, and it's the video that got me into them. But this is Sanctimonious by Attic. Attic is a German traditional metal band, and they're so good. So basically it's King Diamond and Merciful Fate worship vocally, but musically there's so much more than just that. It's got this like groovy traditional metal style to it, but it's modernized quite a bit. You know, these guys are definitely listening to like the modern underground extreme metal scene. I see the drummer has a DOG back patch, and you can hear those influences definitely in there, from Denmark, if you guys don't know them. It's just top quality material, man. It's so good. Go look them up. There's like a video of them playing at Grass Pop, maybe, that I think is just absolutely borderline iconic. It's absolutely stellar, man. Go check out Attic if you have not. They're one of the only bands that really does nail that falsetto King Diamond vocal. Number 4 is a gap filler. I'm never gonna listen to this. This is Attack of the Killer Bees by Anthrax. I'm a diehard Anthrax fan, man. The Joey Belladonna era is just absolutely stellar. The first 4 albums are gold standard records for me. And then this, I think this came out after State of Euphoria. No, this is before. Yeah, after State of Euphoria and before Persistence of Time, and that's another gold record. So I guess the first 5 albums, and then they got really bad, really quick. But I'm not gonna listen to this. It's MLK or Milk on here is funny. I used to love that song in high school just because I liked, like borderline comedic music that's just funny. They all look like, they smelled a real bad fart and they're trying to hide from it. But whatever, man. This is not top quality material by any means. Number 5 is a cheap 2021 pickup. I was going to choose this or Collapsed by Panopticon. I both got them in the same lot. But this is Manic Thoughts of Perverse Mutilation by Gortuary. Gortuary is a top-shelf brutal death metal band, borderline slamming brutal death metal, and it's great. It's a lot less, and it's more like the low, kind of regular, straight-up death metal, old school vocal. Even though I think that's honestly the most lackluster part of this band, they have really good riffs. They're really fun to listen to, and they have cool, obviously it's a gore aesthetic, but later on they have like album covers from like the Aztec temples. If you guys know anything about the Aztecs, they were rather brutal, and it's a mix for really good death metal artwork. So Gortuary, this is selling for like $50 to $60 on Discogs, so that's a cheap one. Next, number 6, the fave cover of 2021, my favorite album cover. It's got to be Tales of Other Time by Stormkeep. I did manage to snag one of these 2-disc special edition CDs, being the only pressing, from $20 spin before it sold out. Even though I had to wait a month for them to ship it out, I'm okay, man. I will survive. And this has got to be it. You guys have heard 1,000,005 people talk about this album. I do like the slipcase. If you're going to do a slipcase, do something special. You have this like nice harder cardstock-ish, and then this nice foil stamp on there, and then a hand limitation, man. You do hand limitations, you're putting in work, and I love it. That's the type of stuff we need in the underground, and you could tell that's what these guys are all about. Stormkeep, you guys know how great this is. Nothing new. Let's see. That was number 7. Number 6. This is number 7. It's my favorite track of 2021. I'm gonna have to give that to Underworld Aurora off the New Worlds in the Throne Room album, Primordial Arcana. This is just a stellar atmospheric black metal song. I don't know if you guys have ever played the Far Cry games, especially Far Cry Primal. There's some scenes in that game. I've said this, I think, in my year-end list, but in that game, there's like caves that you go into a lot. You're walking through with torchlight. You hear like all these drips, and it's just damp and cold and dismal looking. And then you kind of come out to this like pool. You dive under the pool, and you kind of swim under a couple rocks under there. And then you come out to the other side of the pool, and you get to this like oasis kind of, where the cliffs open up on the top, and it's just gorgeous lush forests inside this huge cavern. It kind of sounds like walking through all of that for me. And I heard this way after I haven't played Far Cry Primal in like 2 or 3 years, but it still sticks in my head, and that's a great soundtrack for that. So if you basically want cave exploring music, go listen to Underworld Aurora. Number 8, an earworm. A Past and Future Secret. One of my favorite power metal songs of all time. It's constantly stuck in my head. If I think about it, it's in my head for the whole day. If I listen to it, it's in my head for 3 days. It's pretty much every single time, too. I mean, it's so catchy, and like Hansi has such a great way of putting his vocals over the top of, you know, everything that he does. Is just so tasteful, and the instrumentation is this classical guitar. It's beautiful, and the gang vocals sound so good. It's a well-driven song. It's top shelf. I love Blind Guardian. Always will, always have. Well, I shouldn't say always will. Always have, though. Or always, shouldn't say always have. Always will. Thank you. Now that I'm done rambling like a moron, we are on to number 9, which is 2 albums to be called from the collection. I'm kind of bad about hoarding, but I'm starting to get less and less completionist as time goes on, especially as my collection grows quite a bit, far too regularly. The fact that I have filled up these shelves since I moved in here a year and a half ago is unreasonable, and I'm well aware of it, but I'm also kind of okay with it. So I'm going to start with an obvious one, Load by Metallica. Who wants this crap in their collection? I mean, some of it's fun, like 2x4 is a fun song, Mama Said's a cool song, but I don't care. I really just, like, I'm never going to put this in the player. Maybe to, like, nostalgia trip for about 12 seconds, you know, listen like Until It Sleeps and 2x4 and stuff like that, but what do I need this for? I don't know. I might start doing that. And this one, it's not that I don't like it, it's just I won't listen to it. I don't care about live albums. This is Marduk's Live in Germania. Yeah, I don't listen to live records. At least not of metal bands. I really just don't want to. There's nothing interesting about it. It's like even sloppier versions of the record with annoying crowd noise, and it's like, ooh, yeah, that's what I've always wanted. So if any of y'all want this, let me know. I will trade you, sell it to you, or whatever you want out of it. I don't know. But yeah, Live in Germania, decent track list. This is from 1999, so it's a classic lineup, Legion on vocals, everything. Nice. A band you've given up on, or a band you've gone off, as he put it. Lost Society. I have all 3 of their first albums. I am so disappointed in this band. Like, beyond disappointed. This is one of my favorite bands of my youth, and I couldn't stand what happened to them. It's just absolutely a disappointment to see, and I can't do it, man. They've turned into this trash heap, outdated already sounding metalcore nonsense, and they just wasted so much potential by doing so. Nobody cares anymore. That's just, including myself, man. Like, you start off with this speedy, great speed metal classic album, and then you go to this top shelf thrash album. This is definitely speed and thrash, but this is a thrash record, man. This is a straight up, some of the greatest riffs of all time are on this LP right here. What you're looking at right here. What was the track? Brutal Awakening, Thrashed Reality, Lethal Pleasure. I think it's the Brutal Awakening. And then it's like Sammy just comes in and then he just goes off. The whole thing explodes. One of my favorite metal albums of all time. And Overdose, or Brain Dead, sorry. It's a really good record. I don't love it as much. They're starting to get a little groove metal, which is okay with me. I can deal with some, X-Order and some Pantera influence, and as long as you don't start sounding like Machine Head, I'm in. But they just turned into garbage after this. They got rid of the drummer. I don't know if he quit or if they booted him because he's like, guys, we suck. We should stop making this trash. But who knows? So I'm really disappointed in you, Lost Society, from a die-hard, borderline tattooing on my body fan. Disappointed. Number 11, 90s album recommendation. I did 2 because I had to. I had no other option. But the first one is The Secret Doctrine by Morgana Le Fay. This is a Swedish kind of progressive power metal, thrash metal, kind of groovy metal band. I've sent this to a couple of my buddies via Instagram DMs, and they seem to have enjoyed it, and I am very glad to hear such things. It's just such a good album. It's got real Sabotage feels. Literally everybody has sent it to us like, whoa, man, sounds like Sabotage, and what's a better compliment? They're all like full albums on YouTube here, so why not go check it out. Morgana Le Fay. And one of my favorite death metal bands, Merciless, with The Treasure Within. I can't get enough of this album. I can't get enough of all three of their first albums. I have not listened to the newer one, but I just can't love a band this much when they play this straight up usually. But like, they really know how to write riffs, man. These guys write some of the most fun riffs with some of the coolest song structures, you know, really good build-ups, really good use of their dynamic ability. And you know, you wear your creator influence this heavily on your sleeve, odds are I'm probably going to be a fan, and I'm all about it. Merciless, all three, The Awakening, that one, and I think the other one's called like Unbound or something like that. Yeah, so a single or 7-inch that sold you on a band. This is not a 7. I don't have a 7-inch of this band. I don't really collect 7 inches. I have a couple I've bought from random things and then gifts from people. They're cool. I listen to them occasionally, but I don't actively seek them out or anything. But the single that got me was Tyrants off Sons of Northern Darkness by Immortal. Immortal, one of the bands that got me into this whole metal thing, this whole black metal thing. I mean, I was into metal already, but I saw like a music video for Tyrants and then like the live and fucking version, and I was like, whoa, this like groovy, great stuff, man. It's catchy. He's one of the guys that made me learn how to do like metal, harsh metal vocals. I was listening to Abbott and I was like, I wanted to learn how to do that croak. Obviously I do it all the time. If you've heard that Apotheosis EP that me and my old band did, you'll hear more of it on a release I'm working on. Sons of Northern Darkness. An epic song of 8 minutes or more is number 13. I had to go with another black metal one because you know me. The opening track, Tiramiskuri, I don't know. Moon Sorrow. The opening track is like a 27, 28 minute long epic track. First off, that's the length of like most full lengths from like 92 and before. So if you're making one track the length of an album, better be interesting. And man, talk about dynamic range. I absolutely adore this band. It's just folky black metal goodness. Decent band photo, not as cool as it could be because they could be wearing chainmail and carrying swords. Just saying. But the other 4 tracks are cool on here. I mean, it's For Whom the Bell Tolls is on here. They do some Metallica, which is cool. This album cover's absolutely stellar. I'll open up the whole thing so you can see it. Gotta love it. I tried to mix up the CDs and the LPs in this video, so I hope you guys enjoyed that a little bit. I do have some records, so yeah. Number 14, my opinion on Record Store Day. Man, I don't care. Record Store Day is whatever to me. You know, people complain that it's like, oh, it's jacking up the plants with whatever. I get it. I do understand the frustration, but like me not being a huge LP guy, I don't care. I'm a CD person. If I don't like to go to the shop, I'll buy it on the internet. And if it is Record Store Day, half the time it's like the middle of the week or like a Saturday, and I work on weekends, so I can't even go if I want to, so it doesn't matter whatsoever to me. But you know, it's keeping these places open for me to go there and buy my stuff at my own leisure. Even if I have like one day or a year I can't go there, I think I'll be alright, man. Yeah, it could be a lot worse. I mean, I go to record stores on Black Friday, and that's chill. It's never like super bad, so I don't know, there's nothing to complain about for me. I have a couple Record Store Day releases. My fiance bought me like a really cool Hank Williams like 7-inch or 10-inch of like some unreleased material from back in the day of its home recordings. Absolutely awesome, and it sounds great for being a recording from probably the late 40s to like super early 50s. It's really, really cool. So if it brings back stuff like that and it gets people listening to old music again, beyond the fact that I'm sick of, you know, hearing about the Beatles and Zeppelin and Pink Floyd and the Rolling Stones, that's okay, whatever. It could be worse. At least they're listening to music with guitars. So that's pretty much my opinion. Number 15 is a change to my music setup I would make. I'm no kind of audiophile at all, but I would like to upgrade the speakers in my kitchen setup, which is upstairs. I'm in the basement music room / living room because we live in a pretty small 1-bedroom, 1-bath house right now until we save up some more money. And I would probably do that, get new speakers. I would like to get needles for both of the record players. I was listening today and mine sounds kind of jacked. I haven't changed it since I got it 3 years ago, 2 years ago, something like that. And I should probably maybe clean it too. I do occasionally, but I never think of it because I don't listen to records as much as other stuff. And I need more shelf space, 100%. My record shelf is filled up. My CD shelves are filled up. My tape shelf is like 5 away from being filled up. I just need to build more shelves because, you know, the other option would be not buying stuff. And you're funny. Number 16 is my biggest disappointment of 2021. So I like the first 3 albums a ton, and then it starts getting okay for like the next 2, and then the new stuff is whatever, I don't care. But I wanted to like the new Carcass really bad. I really did. Carcass is a band I've always had a weird relationship with. It's a band that I like. Like I said, the earliest material for sure. I like, you know, Reek, Symphonies, and Necroticism. They're all 3 of those are stellar, top shelf, great records. And being like the person that I'm trying to get into gore grind here, those are, you know, that's the blueprint for it, for sure. That's textbook, everything that it needs to be, everything it's supposed to sound like. And I know without that band, there wouldn't be Exhumed, there wouldn't be Impaled, there wouldn't be a million other death metal and brutal death metal bands and grind bands. But the new Carcass is not my thing. It's just kind of boring. It's nap time for me, you know what I'm saying? I don't care. If I bought it, I would play it once so I could like probably talk about it in my end of year list last year, and then I would put it on the shelf to never be touched again. Kind of like when I bought like the Surgical Remission EP, which I don't even know if I still have. Apparently I do. Yeah, I don't know. I don't touch it. I haven't listened to it in 4 years, at least. So that's whatever. So that's my disappointment of 2021. Number 17 is an album I'm looking forward to in 2022. There's a couple I could think of off the top of my head. The new album from the band, what is their name? I was just talking about them on Instagram with somebody. Druid Lord. Thank you. Druid Lord, out on Hell's Headbangers Records, one of the best doomy death metal bands of the modern era. Filthy dungeon crawling, Draugr slaying, death doom, absolutely top shelf stuff. There's also a brand new Falls of Raros album coming out this year, which is going to be a wonderful thing, as well as a new Nachashwan album. Those are 2 bands all 3 of those bands are things that I'm incredibly fond of. Falls of Raros probably being my favorite of 3 just because of my taste and the things that I tend to listen to on a daily basis. I'm not listening to Exhumed every day. I know, sorry. Put me in the poser disposer or whatever, we're good. Number 18 would be an artist you would like to see make a solo record. He's kind of done it already, but it was more of like a prog rock thing with Steven Wilson. But I would love to see Michael Ackerfeld take a little bit of that, you know, less intense atmosphere that he likes to put in Opeth these days, which is fine. I like the new Opeth too. And maybe take off for like a recording studio with an acoustic guitar and maybe some like string sections, or somebody who just can rock on like the flute, and make like an acoustic kind of like really heady folk album. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know he's pretty fond of Joni Mitchell, and I feel like I've listened to him talk about Nick Drake, and I've definitely heard him mention Joan Baez before. I feel like those kind of things could really fit in well with his style of guitar playing. I mean, you hear him playing. The guy's one of the best musicians of the modern era. I think, for sure. The last thing he needs is an ego boost, I'm sure. But he's one of my favorites. I love Opeth. Everything they've ever done is a great record. At least 2 perfect 10 out of 10 records, 100%. So Michael Ackerfeld doing like a really heady, artsy-fartsy folk album would be top shelf for me. Number 19 is a placeholder until I get better additions. Both of these are shot. My copies of Power Slave. First off, I picked this one up at a flea market when I was in high school because I was always on a budget, and I don't know if you could see, you can kind of see how scratched up all that is. Maybe not so well. There you go. Absolutely shot. This thing skips constantly. It's very frustrating. I had the same thing with my copy of Static Age, but I've since replaced it. And this LP copy is also destroyed. The whole bottom, yeah, is coming out like that. There's no inner. It's it's like a taco, and the record is pretty worn, and as you can see, it's very matted, and it's just perpetually kind of scratched up and stuff. I got this for free from my local record store. The dude knew my taste, and I was looking at it on the wall, and he was just hanging it up, you know, just for looks, since it's a terrible, terrible copy of this album. And he was like, dude, you can just take that. Because I was a regular at that store for a long time. And, yeah, you know, you gotta be good to your customers one way or another, right? So this is Power Slave, man. 100% something that's gonna have to get replaced in the collection because it's one of the best metal albums of all time. Power Slave. And the last question is the albums that you have not yet picked up because of the price tag. I have a couple. I have a lot, actually, but I picked 3 of the highlights that have been on my radar a lot, especially as of the past couple of years. But the most important one for me to try to get a hold of soon would be In Sanctification by the Brazilian band In Memoriam. I have been like a huge, huge fan of that shorter full length for the past couple of years. It's something I found randomly scrounging through you know, YouTube videos one day, and I saw the album cover. The album cover is ridiculous, and I was like, well, I'm gonna scope that out. Then I listened to it, and I was like, this is literally everything I like about metal, musically put into one big, wonderful melting pot. And then I want the EP Blasphemy Is My Throne by Pest, the Swedish band Pest. They're the people who wrote, I believe it's the same band that wrote Satanic Winter. The Satanic Warmaster has a hit with as stupid of an idea as saying Satanic Warmaster's hit would be. But I believe it's either the Swedish Pest or maybe the Finnish Pest that wrote that one. I don't remember because there's multiple. And Murtgrav's debut album being Trollskal and several other words in that language I am unfamiliar with. But I really, really, really want to get that Murtgrav album. It's not being reissued. I messaged them on like an email that I found on the Metal Archives, and the guy replied back to me in a couple of days being like, yeah, I'm not reissuing that. I'm going to, if anything, re-record it and then release it again. And I don't want that because I like how it sounds now. So I might have to just shell out the cash for it. And I'm very, very hesitant to spend the money on it just because I'm a cheapskate sometimes. But I am very excited to have done this metal tag, gotten it done and ready for you guys. So I'll be back again next week with something. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I film this the day of sometimes, and sometimes I have a video for 3 weeks before I upload it. So we'll see a new video for you next weekend. I appreciate you guys, and yeah, keep it greasy.